Kia ora, namaste, and a very warm welcome to all our viewers tuning in from around New Zealand and beyond. You're watching live coverage of the 2025 New Zealand Indian Hockey Championship, proudly hosted this year by the Waikato Indian Sports Club in conjunction with NZISA, bringing together community, competition and culture. Whether you're new to NZIHC or you've been around since the QBT days, you're in for an absolute treat again this year. I'm joined in commentary by Jude Menezes, international player turned international coach. Welcome in, Jude.
Thanks a lot, Brad. Really cool to be here at this event. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, and it's going to be a real exciting one out here. We brought in the big guns into commentary for this men's A game. I mentioned you, a former international player for a long time representing India, and then on the coaching scene as well with the Black Sticks, and then more recently with the Japanese women. So you bring a lot of experience into the booth.
Yeah, no, happy to be here, just watching hockey, being involved in this tournament, and yeah, looking forward to this game actually, because I reckon it's going to be a real good one.
Yeah, as we see the two teams come out here, the matchup is between Bay of Plenty in the orange and Auckland in the green. This is men's A section here for 2025, and two teams with stars right across the park. We saw a few of these guys representing both with the Punjab Heritage team and with the NZISA side in the Heritage tournament a little earlier in the year. And if there's one thing we're looking forward to, it's some goal scoring opportunities at both ends of the field. As the teams come out here, just some names of note in this Bay of Plenty Indian side. Karambir Singh, young player from Rotorua Boys High School, who's got a fair amount of goal-scoring prowess in him. Kuljot Lal as well, back with Bay of Plenty this year. Had previously played for Auckland, so a little bit of a match-up for him. And then Daljit Singh, the goalkeeper, he was impressive at the Heritage tournament. Quite a tall goalie, gets around the goal well. And then equally on the other side of the field, Big Dil Patel. He's no stranger to the big moments. He's joined out on the field. Kishan Narsai captains the Auckland team. Prashant Patel, another player who's played at a pretty high level as well. And I said skill and real experience on both sides of the park here. Jude, what are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, I reckon there's going to be a few goals, I think. So I'm looking forward to some good goals and exciting hockey to be played. Some attacking hockey, because both teams are really stacked with some very skillful hockey players. So yeah, looking forward to some goals.
Yeah, as those that joined us in the first match of the day, we had 5 goals in the first 2 quarters in the men's match, which turned into a cracker, went to a penalty shootout in the end. This one I expect no different, and that's the excitement that is, and always has been, Indian tournaments over the years. And Auckland, they take on Bay of Plenty in men's A section. And the other cool thing of note, obviously not playing, but man, there's a pretty loaded coaching box over there for the Auckland team as well. Jude, we talk about international experience. Man, none two better than those two.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see Steve Jeunesse, and did spot Blair Tarrant on the bench as well. So it's pretty cool having very high-profile ex-players into coaching, and yeah, I'm sure they'll add to that Auckland Indians setup.
Yeah, and I know Juice has been involved, Stevie's been involved for a while with Auckland. But pretty cool to bring Blair Tarrant on as well, former Black Sticks captain. So, man, I tell you what, I reckon we might have to have a coaches battle at some point, because there's some good ones going around, certainly in this men's A section. We're underway here. Auckland first use of it, as I mentioned, in the green. We just saw their ladies in the earlier ladies match. And this BOP team just happy to slide at the moment, even within a half court, even deeper than that. Just the one sort of floating pressing striker who's, man, I tell you what, if he can keep that up for periods. In fact, he's already started to fall off that one. I think it's Joban Singh.
Yeah, they're sitting in a real low block at the moment,
yeah.
More zonal at this stage. So yeah, I think they're just sussing out where the Auckland Indians are.
Yeah, and probably just trying to keep things condensed through this first period. Is first little entry there for Auckland, cut out by the Bay team. they opt to come out the back. Mani Ponga there, working with Kieran Chiba. And now they come forward up this midfield channel. Cut out well again. We're just living in this, it's almost like a 35 press really. Just sliding as best they can. And then, as we've seen, just bat it to the other end and see what they can make out of it.
Yeah, we know they've got pretty good strikers, so I think they're hoping to hold back and play counter-attack hockey.
Yeah.
Certainly looks that way at this stage.
Yeah, we mentioned a pretty high expectation for goals here, certainly out of this BOP team. And it's just going to take one mistake, I think, and they'll light up like fireworks. And is this potentially the option? Oh, look at that. And here they go. It's 3-on-5. They don't really care. They keep going. Nice little recycle, though. Bring a few more players on and out over the back line. So you can just see there their ability to counter, break out. A little upright reverse hit. It's a pretty special skill set as well. So this Auckland team, they're going to have to really be really clued in with their counter cover. Oh, that's... Again, if you're new to the tournament or if you're unfamiliar with the style of hockey, certainly that the Bay of Plenty team like to play with, you know, those are the swings and roundabouts, because some of those are going to come off and leave goalies with no chance whatsoever. And there's a flash of it already.
Yeah, absolutely agree, Brad, because that's where they are very, very dangerous, because they will take those snapshots, you know, and create something out of nothing.
Yeah, you know, I've had conversations with goalkeepers like Dill who have had to play against these guys, and you might concede 3 goals and you never even saw the ball.
Yep, that's right.
You might have been near on perfect, and they score 3 spectacular, almost undefendable goals. As we see them now come out of their own end. The 3D's a little bit messy, cleaned up by Kishan Nasai. And they win one. It's a little untidy there at the back, under a bit of pressure now, but the half touch is enough. Here is Karambir. He's a handful. Still going there. It's well defended initially by Gia, and wins it again to Gia Fitzwalter. And now a bit of a foot race into the corner. The one good thing, Jude, as we look at the team sheets, if we go by last name, it's not hard to, you know, not hard to get the name right for this Bay of Plenty team. Is I think out of their 17, 15 of them are Singhs.
Yeah, you can't go wrong if you call Singh, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, you see a little back and forth there. Yeah, I think only 2 of them. So Kuljot, the captain, number 14 in the middle of the field. And then Ashvir, the number 13, just beside him there as well. So other than that, Singh's safe. And this time, Auckland forced to come out of their left pocket. Bop this time, just up in a 3/4. And the slider is cut out.
Yeah, they've sunk their centre striker in the press, so sitting on Kishan Nasai, the number 7, and denying him that pass, so they're forcing the ball long, actually, so it's a pretty good tactic. Yeah,
there's only really 2 options for Auckland. It's either roll it to a wing half and expect them to beat the world, or throw a 60-metre pass and hope it comes off. So that's the defensive setup at the moment for the Bay of Plenty team. Here is Fitzwalter, and it goes. And well cleaned up, defended there, Sandeep Singh. This time we see ball straight up the middle of the field, linking up with Karambir. Look at that skill. Beats 1, 2, tackles his mate, gets it back. I think Karambir and Joban actually got in each other's way there more than anything.
Yeah, they're exploiting the center of the field really well in those post-up spaces. So they received a couple of balls already there. So I think Auckland Indians got to be a bit tighter and be more aware of that space.
Yeah, as they go again up that middle channel. I think they'll get the long corner there. A little touch from Auckland on the way through, but you're right. They almost look for the first layer into their sort of DMs or into that roll and then go straight up the middle to try and link up with a post-up or even a one-touch pass up the middle of the field. It's that one. Again, up the middle of the field, causing real problems. Auckland need to tidy that up or they're going to be made to pay very soon if that keeps coming off for the Bay of Plenty team.
Yeah, and in typical sort of Indian hockey fashion, you know, they're finding Bob's finding a lot of crash balls into that circle, so creating that pressure on the Auckland defense to actually make a good trap there.
This time, Auckland look like they're going to try and get a little bit higher in the press, right up in full press here, because they're going to be asked to take it right out on the sideline. In fact, the language barrier playing more difficulty than the press at the moment. As Plenty trying to work themselves out under a bit of pressure here from Auckland. And good turnover up in advance of halfway, but a little messy. It's still there for Auckland. But Jude, interestingly, there like nobody in the circle for Auckland, considering they're only 10 metres outside it.
Yeah, it's almost a 6v3 with 6 Bob players, and all Auckland is sort of, as you rightly said, where there's no one in the circle.
Yeah. And now, lovely roll forward here is Karambir. Trying to get past Chiba. He does well. Still going here, Bob. It's in the circle. The captain. And looks like picked up the foot there of the attacker on the baseline. And this time Auckland get at least through the first layer a little easier, but forced to recycle. And again, in this sort of half-court slide at the moment. But a pretty poor one, considering that one got through fairly easily for Auckland.
Yeah, they just changed their structure a bit, went to almost a back six. They had two pivots in the middle there, and that made that pass open.
Yeah, and that's the key. You know, when you're playing against a half court, there's a couple of ways to go about it. You know, some people look at, well, if you get two up on the baseline, you can target perhaps the overhead or the ball over distance. Otherwise, it's those two pivots, and you just try and break the first layer, pull those midfielders up, and then play second phase in behind them. So, you know, look, I'd think for both of those options from this Auckland side, as we see a bit of skill there, the inside drag, and that one wayward from Harmon.
Yeah, as I said, they're looking at going too direct at times. So initially, just a little bit more build-up play from Bob might actually help them, because I think they're sitting more compact in defense and then playing on those counters. So they don't really have numbers going forward.
Yeah, yeah. It's the one thing when you do play out of that half court is you're relying on your 2 or 3 sliders to try and get 50 metres in the space of one pass. Pretty tough to do. So, you know, if it's not there immediately, would love to see a recycle or a transfer of some description just to allow them to get some players up the field. There's Auckland, good turnover in attack. They'll win a free hit just outside the circle. And they look in. It's come off somebody. And second shot there for Auckland.
That's a really good save by Daljeet on the second phase.
Yeah, I think it was Jaden Gosha just with a little quick shot for Auckland. And Daljeet getting out in front of it. Got a big overlap on this left side. If they can find that space there, though, covered up at least well enough by Bop, so they go down the right. And it'll fall there for Bop. How's that for skill? And a little short handle as well. Trap by Karambea. This is where you want to see a recycle if they can get it. Oof. It was more a slip than a than a real ankle breaker, but on the turf, and now they recycle all the way to the back. This time Bop. And here, great pass up the middle of the field, trying to look for the second. Oh, too easy. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's well executed skill, but that's far too easy for the Bad Plenty team to go 2 passes straight up the middle of the field to a relatively unmarked striker.
Yeah, I'm sure Blair Tarrant would be having a chat with the group at quarter time to tighten up that defense, because there's been 2 or 3 clear-cut shots around. They haven't executed, but they've given them 2 or 3 really easy opportunities in the circle. Yeah,
and like I said, you give that many opportunities for this Bay team, they're going to score some goals. Now they break out on the counter again. So smooth is the stick skill.
Beautiful receive.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the key for this Auckland team, because the Bop team are really only playing one pivot in there. Kishan's being asked to play higher than his outside midfielder, so it's a bit of an awkward shape, you know, when your central midfielder's having to play that high, but if he doesn't, and that midfielder's able to receive the ball and open, that's where they're causing trouble. So, you know, perhaps they've identified a solution in there.
Yeah, and then Sandeep Singh, the number 17 for Bop, is really a smart hockey player. It looks like he's just the old school distributor, sort of receive and pass kind of player, and he's holding the middle of the field really well.
Free hit one there by Chiba, and I think that's what you're seeing from the Bop team when they sit that striker out onto Nasai. Just you take that pass away completely and force the back four to beat you. Here is Sandeep, look at that, finds space. Harmon rolls it down to Karambea. And back, it's still live there. And again, here is the pivot. They need to go quickly. There's only about 10 seconds left on the clock here for Singh. It's got to go in. And they'll just bleed out the clock here. We're in Chiba. And despite the promise of goals, nothing yet. Though, as we mentioned, Jude, in that quarter, Auckland not doing themselves any favours. Certainly up the middle of the field in that first quarter to nullify the threat of Bop. Bop just couldn't get anything on target.
Yeah, that's right, because Auckland Indians had one clear-cut goal shot, which Daljit made a good save, but I think Bop had 3 actual chances, which they didn't execute too well. So, yeah, we haven't seen any goals yet, but I'm pretty sure there are a few to come.
Yeah, look at that. Like I say, if that's on target, it doesn't matter who's in goal, that's going in.
That's right.
You're walking back to halfway. That one, the one that picked up the attacker. This was that from the other angle. And then, yeah, look at this. This is far too open. It goes across the goal, fortunately enough, but
good pressure from Kieran Chiba there to get close and closed on the shot.
Yeah.
but again, too open to receive and then pull the trigger.
Yeah, and the reason he had the open receive is because Kieran was actually looking after 2 players. So he was kind of hedging one way or the other, which is why he was late on the receive. But yeah, well defended in the end. But those are the sorts of things that will be worrying this Auckland coaching group. And you mentioned Blair Tarrant, again, one of the premier defenders in the world. In his prime only, 2 or 3 years ago, he'll, I say, have some pretty stern words for the defensive group.
Yeah, I was watching him in the huddle, and yes, he did have a lot to say there. So yeah, hopefully they fix those issues that they've had in the first quarter, and we see a bit more compact defensive structure.
Yeah. Interesting of note, for this first quarter, didn't see a lot of the use of the overhead from either of these teams. Pretty common in the men's game. We certainly saw it a lot in the first men's game. So teams looking to exploit other distribution options, and perhaps they don't have a real big flicker out of the back, so having to use the ground route a little bit more as Auckland come forward down this left side.
Yeah, I quite like that actually, Brad, with the ball being played on the ground a lot more, and there's more control being shown.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the overheads are great when they're used well. We see sometimes they become a little bit overkill, or just thrown for the sake of throwing them sometimes. So showcasing that ability to keep control as Bop here. He took the bait, took all of the bait.
Beautiful show and go.
Yeah. And now they'll win one up on that attacking left here. Just searching for a change of angle. They'll come out around halfway here through Harwinder Singh. Probably made that more difficult than it really needed to be, the extra reverse pass. I've come back about 20 more meters, and just trying to pull this Auckland defence out of that back third.
Yeah, what this game really needs is a goal, Brad. Then it'll open things up a bit.
Yeah.
Both teams are still feeling each other out, being a bit too cautious at this stage. One goal and then this whole game will open up.
Yeah, and I think it's probably almost being cautious for opposite reasons. Auckland, they are worried about what can happen if the floodgates open. Bay, they just haven't quite been able to execute anything yet going forward. So I think you're right. Once it does, regardless of which team does it, it's going to really open up. There's this Auckland team again just searching for a way through the half-court slide. They win one just inside the 25-yard line. That's Ranik Patel there on the ball.
Here comes an overhead there, Ariel, as you, Brad, as you asked.
Yeah, and it was almost the one. We saw that a fair bit, that style of overhead, that crossfield onto the baseline. It's one that's, growing in prominence right through the levels. That crossfield to the baseline, and just asking, are you going to go out and defend it and perhaps give away a penalty corner, or are you going to let us have the baseline ball? So those are the sorts of ones I do quite like.
Yeah, it's a good searching pass there. Getting a big tackle.
Man, got lucky. He missed on about 97% of his swing and just got the little reverse touch on it enough. Well defended there in the contest. Yash, one of the younger Auckland players.
Oh, it's a great ball in the circle.
Jaden Gosha, just gets it wrong. What a pass in. Perhaps starting to find a few more opportunities as Karambir now trying to go the other end. He'll take on Chiba. Oh. It's still there. Really well defended. Kieran Chiba getting nice and low. Karambir couldn't get the 3D going, and now Auckland break out. Now, yeah, it's really starting to stretch out a little bit more now. Jude, players at both ends of the field.
Yep.
It's coming.
Game's opening up a bit now.
It's like when the dogs start barking an hour before the rain sets in. You can kind of feel it's about to happen one way or the other here. And Auckland, they'll be asked to bring it back onto the spot. Sam Richmond there, umpire. He alongside Bruce Brownsy in control of this one. And now the space starting to open up, and we've got strikers in the circle. That one's going to have a little bit of sting on it there. Jaden Dyer will try and walk it off, but I dare say he's heading to the dugout. Fitzwalter does well enough. It was a little scrambly there for a second, and he's on the run too. Oh, picked out. You love that. Tackle on one side, goes around the back with the stick and gets a trap on the other end. So, you see some skills here in this these games that you've probably not seen in any other tournaments.
Yeah, and with the Bob defenders, you know, they're so used to seeing skills. They're good tacklers as well because they see so much of those skills. So that's what we're seeing, a lot of good tackles being made as well in the circle.
As we see them really working this right side, there's a couple of attacks down here at the moment. And Auckland under a bit of pressure, but perhaps an opportunity here for Gosha. Just a little bit big for him.
Really looking for the high striker in the circle. Karambir was lurking around there.
Yeah, perhaps blending in with Dil Patel's goalkeeping pads as well. There, the oranges. And that one will fall down into the corner for Auckland. And Jude, I mentioned your, like I said, international coaching experience. Spent a bit of time over in Japan recently, but back in New Zealand, which is cool. Taking up a head of hockey pathways role there with Auckland, so good to have you back in the country. But you know, what are you looking forward to most about being back in New Zealand and your work with Auckland?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be back home and just working with the development and the top level athletes. You know, so for me, the key focus is to getting our basic skill sets a little bit better, and just producing a few more athletes to get them ready for international hockey. So it's a good challenge. We've got a good group of athletes in Auckland, so I'm just looking forward to working with them.
Yeah, awesome. You know, now being involved in 2 different international programs, you know, what are the sort of things you're really seeing as focus areas? Oh, so we see good save by Dill, really good positioning, and just like that we see the opportunity there for Bay of Plenty. But as I finish off my question, you know, with that international experience, what are you seeing the real areas of opportunity or areas of improvement for especially those athletes you're seeing in Auckland?
I think it's really cool that they're getting the NZA tours going now. So a lot of the athletes who are on the fringe or who are not in the junior programs or the Vantage Black Sticks programs, they're actually getting an opportunity to gain some international experience. So I think that's a good space for those athletes. And yeah, I think we've got the talent. We just need to provide them more opportunity to develop and get better. And yeah, that remains to be a challenge within the country at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, for those sort of unfamiliar at that next level, it is pretty tough for us being based where we are in the world to get experience like that. You know, it's not like rugby where if we go play Australia enough times, we'll probably be all right. You know, the bulk of the competition is Europe, you know, in the hockey spaces and, you know, parts of Asia. So it does become pretty difficult to get regular more consistent fixtures at that level. So, yeah, I think you're right. Even the NZA ladies who were just over in China just wrapped up yesterday. Opportunity for, like you mentioned, those players that either sit above the age of 21 but outside the Black Stick setup. pathways, you know, between that and the likes of the PHL and those programs that are happening. Just more opportunity for a wider range of people at that top or mid to top level.
Yeah, it just opens up that pipeline a little bit more, so we get a chance to see a few more players, you know, and as it filters down into the top teams. So just widening the pipeline, I think it's really helping, or will help us going forward.
As we see,
I could put a soccer skills there.
yeah.
Taljit Singh taking it on his chest and then off-walling it with his foot. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the long ball starting to pay off here for Bay of Plenty, and they've got players going forward, which is opportunity. Lovely 3D skill. 1, 2, still there. And they'll take the long corner from it.
Yeah, they've really got to be careful of that long ball there. Karambir had a really good shot earlier, and Dil Patel made a big save there. So, and the second ball that's gone through now. So, really got to tighten up.
Here he is again, Karambir. Just trying to weave his way back to his forehand that time. Defended by the Auckland captain. Here he is again, Nasai. And he'll get it back on the 1-2. Like this from Auckland. Still there. Captain's had about 4 touches on the way through. Kishan Nasai perfectly playing the centre pivot.
Yeah, much better hockey from Auckland that time.
Yeah. And a little 3D one. Brought on a couple of swing attempts. That's a lovely entry. Oh! Is that at the post or is that a save? I lost it behind the pole here. We'll get it on a replay in a second. And free hit out here for Bay of Plenty. And you mentioned it, much better build up there from Auckland those last 2 possessions. So the one that got them up there, and then even the interchange of passes that opened up the shot. You can't take this Bay of Plenty team on one-on-one.
No.
They're pretty good defenders, and even if sometimes it's a swinging tackle, pretty hard to get past. So that shorter stuff around the edge of the circle is how you're going to break them down. Yeah,
and this time Auckland Indian actually had numbers around the ball there, so that helped with those little short passes and creating those opportunities.
Yeah. And unfortunately at the moment, opportunity to get the umbrellas out for those around the edge of the turf. The wind has brought a little bit of rain here. As Auckland break forward again. Just couldn't get it under control. That was a nice baseline entry though from Ranik. And I think that one more a reliever than a real pass. Just trying to get out the other end and take a bit of a breath.
Yeah, they've been under the pump for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Yep.
So just long ball to release pressure.
And it's interesting, it's perhaps almost like we were on loudspeakers, because after saying we probably didn't see an overhead in the first quarter, we've probably seen half a dozen each now in the second. So you know, perhaps teams looking to mix up their distribution methods. And Plenty will come away with that one. Sideline hit just up out in front of the dugouts there. And over on turf 2, I mentioned it a little earlier, Central District's taken on North Harbour. So 2 of the teams, you know, fairly newly up into the men's A section. Battling it out on turf 2, 0-0 at the moment, into the first quarter between those 2 teams. And out here, unbelievably, I think we're still 0-0 between these 2 sides. And Bay of Plenty and Auckland with a minute and a half left in the second quarter. It's well defended. Really good defensive work, but the game noticeably stretching out now, both ends of the field. Something has to break here. That one, yeah, it's a pretty rough challenge and it's all going in one direction, unfortunately for the BOP team. Auckland maybe the first to break the deadlock here, show us a little bit of something out of the short corner. We'll have a look at the replay. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's the right call. It's the right. They'll argue it all they like there, but a jab tackle heading straight over the back line on a half-beaten player. You're asking for trouble there. I think even if he'd got it clean, it was probably still over the back line, penalty corner anyway. So,
yeah, but a good passage of play from Auckland Indians in the last 5 minutes or so. They've created a couple of overloads. The last play, especially 4v3 on the outside, 2 players in the circle, resulting in the penalty corner.
Yeah, looks like Chiba and Fitzwalter at the brackets here. It'll go to Gia Fitzwalter, and he finds one. Just like that. How good, Gia Fitzwalter. He's getting all the high fives on the way back as well. For those that were on the Facebook earlier, S-Man was asking for a fresh fade from the boys, and he looks like he's got one too. We'll see it on the replay. Love that. That's the spot. It's between the goalkeeper and that postie. We talk about it a fair bit. I'm sure we'll get a couple of extra looks at it. Different angles of it on the replay there, but well executed, and what a time to score right before halftime, Jude.
Yeah, great time to go to the halftime break with a goal advantage, and then they can regroup, regather. They've been in the ascendancy for the last 5 minutes, and it's good to walk away from that ascendancy with a goal. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And, you know, cliches, we talk about, you know, times to score in and around the breaks, but also making the most of your momentum. You know, when you do have a few waves, being able to execute, because there's nothing worse than having 5 or 6 opportunities and walking in with nothing. So timely for Auckland as we see some of the highlights here from the first half. You have to say it was all opportunities for Bop for 75% of the first half, as we see a fair bit of it happening here in these replays, but a 5-minute period at the back end of the second, all Auckland's, as we see. There are those 2 coaches we spoke of. Blair Tarrant walking towards us, giving the knuckles there to Dil Patel, and then Stevie Jenis, pretty animated on the left side of the screen there. This is some of that opportunity. Jaden Gosha there, an air swing at one. Bop, well, as they do, they started to look pretty direct. Look at this. Great save from Dil Patel. Even the camera person was looking for it in the goal. You can see it from the other angle.
That's a great ball.
Yeah, just to snap the wrists on it.
It's against the grain. Really good pass, good lead. A great save by Dil Patel.
Yeah, just good hockey all around that one. And then here's your man with his drop kick. Fortunately not needed. The free hit coming his way. This is the penalty corner that they scored off. And I think we can all agree, at least sitting up here, that it was the right call. And then we'll have a look at this one from Gia Fitzwalter.
Yeah, real solid flick, low and hard.
Yep.
Between the postie and the goalkeeper, always a difficult spot.
Yeah, this will be a... Actually, we just missed the bottom of it. But interestingly there, just the shape of the first 2 runners, we couldn't quite see it on that replay, but you know, first runner looked like almost in the right spot, perhaps a little wide, but the second runner really high and wide, almost worried about the second bracket. So just open that channel up. Yeah,
it looked like both the runners targeted each bracket.
Yeah.
And, probably didn't run that first line really well.
Yeah. So
created that channel to flick down to the left.
And that's a difficult thing there. You know, when you do run almost like a high box in that scenario, but offset the wrong direction, just opens up the channel there, and you're either asking for a spectacular save on the line from your postie, or you're walking back to halfway.
Yeah, unfortunately the postie looked like he was outside the goal, so
yes,
that's not going to help.
Yeah, pretty, and perhaps just not that defensive. Yeah, we'll have a look at it here. So just check out the first 2 runners. Yeah, so you can see there 13, who was the second runner, going at Kieran Chiba's second bracket, and then your lineman there had no real chance at it, considering he was half the body outside the post. So well executed from Jeff Fitzwalter. He'll tell us that he saw all of that in real time, and that's why he put it there. I think he's just flicked it hard and low and in the spot, and hope for the best, and it's good enough. So.
And to be fair, after watching that replay again, I think Daljeet and Gold should have done a better job, because it's relatively central. It's not...
wasn't as wide as we probably thought from this angle.
That's right, yeah. Watching the replay actually confirmed that actually should have been keeper's ball rather than the line stopper's ball.
Yeah, but I will say a bit of a tough one, and you know, we can dissect goalkeepers all over the place, but when you're running that high box and not giving them one side or the other, you're looking after a fair bit of space down the middle channel, but you'd like to see the big fella get to those ones. after seeing it from that angle. So, yeah, something to take note of. And the other thing, looks like some blue skies coming out on that side of the pitch. I don't want to jinx it, but perhaps just a short shower for the start of our weekend.
Yeah, and hopefully that opens up this second half nicely, because everything to play for now. You know, Bob may come out firing a little bit more, maybe more spaces, more open spaces, maybe counterattacks, so it'll be quite exciting, I think.
I couldn't agree more. I think if there was anything that was going to fire up this Bop team even more, was that goal right before halftime. And it wouldn't surprise me if they think, well, if we can score 1 here in the first 2 minutes, we're good. And if we can score 3 in the first 5, we're really good. And I think that's probably the mentality of this group. They'll be probably a little disappointed to go into the break behind on the scoreboard given their opportunities. So look perhaps for a bit of a shot throw in here early from Bob.
Yeah, they have played quite structured in the first 2 quarters, so I think they might lose a little bit of that structure going forward in their attempt to go forward. That might actually present an opportunity for Auckland Indians.
That's right, and that's the risk and reward of the way that they play. As now, the goal scorer, he's growing an extra leg here after his flick, and he's charging up the middle of the field, taking on Sandeep Singh.
Yeah, good to see Jer carrying the ball, getting forward.
Yeah, just you can see the after communication there between the 2 players, trying to get onto the same page there for the Auckland side. Is some skill coming out of the back there for the Bop team. And just a little update from Turf 2. Sounds like all cheers over there. I think CD just executed on the penalty corner. They've all run back to halfway. And yeah, first goal on Turf 2. Central Districts up 1-0 over North Harbour. Now that'll be the second quarter over there. So advantage CD.
Yeah, would that have been an Amanjot Singh?
Oh yeah, potentially. I know we've got a couple of options off the bracket, but we've seen some real special stuff from AJ as Auckland work their way out. Here, a bit of space for Fitzwalter. Love that pass. And that as well. This is really good from Auckland. They've just backed up. Oh. Again, just 2 players not quite on the same page. I think the man on the spot thought he was waiting for a rebound, not the pass option, and that one really opened up for Auckland.
Yeah, I reckon the guy from the top of the circle should be pulling the trigger as well. I don't think Steve Jeunesse would be too impressed with that.
No.
He'd be hitting that sideboard, backboard.
Yeah, absolutely. He starts swinging at the dotted circle. That's, yeah, would love to have that one again. I get the theory of making it a sure goal, but at this rate, you're up 1-0, get something on the cage, and we'll go from there. Auckland just trying to slow that down a little bit. Sitting in the back 3 shape and Bop up in a full at the moment. Nicely out there through Prashant, though still under a bit of pressure here. Kieran Chiba, oh, they get lucky. They get lucky on that one, and now this is good build up, bit of space here for Kishan Narsai. Fitzwalter still there, a little untidy and well defended. Oh, in fact, they're going to give away the free hit. They actually thought that was a pretty good blindside tackle. But
yeah, it must have been something we didn't spot, but it looked like a pretty good tackle.
And they'll get it again here, just inside the 25-yard line, so can't go straight in. Well, it takes probably the world's shortest 5 before doing it anyway. It's not going to matter. And again, this Bob team just finding, I think, a little too easy that first entry pass into the midfield. And well defended. It's unorthodox sometimes. They're going to call foot. I thought it was actually a good contest again. I might be losing my sight up here, Jude. I'll have to borrow your glasses shortly.
That definitely was foot.
I'm 0 for 2 in the last minute, so... And question mark here. Karen Bear couldn't resist the temptation.
That's good. One layer aerial from Kieran Shiba.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you tell me that was a foot as well, apparently, eh? Out come Bop with the transfer on this right side. And nice little 3D pass. Cool got Lyle now linking up into the right pocket. A little messy, but they'll win a long corner from it. A lot of players behind the ball, though, for Bop. Now through Singh. That one pretty regulation cut out, given the ball was dead flat.
So this almost looks like Bop's playing in a 6-4 split, so they've got 4 defenders behind the ball at all times.
Yeah. Oh, really well defended there. Harwinder Singh, a lot of defenders there would just let the goalkeeper try and deal with that one. Oh, excellent work to get a stick on it in Auckland now. Trying to work around that circle edge. And Auckland now just trying to find a way. If they can get a second goal here, just give them a touch more breathing room. 1-0's never comfortable against this Baplenny team, or against any team here, really. Midway through the third quarter. I tell you what, it's probably not a scoreline I had predicted on my bingo card. 1-0, 3 quarters in.
Yeah, that's right. We expected a few more goals,
yeah? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, still a long time to play in this game, Brad.
Yeah, yep. And like I said, I don't think 1-0 is secure by any stretch. Though, nearly coming away there for Auckland, and Bop will work their way out of the corner. Good scramble there from Auckland, though it finds the foot, and Bop now will get the opportunity to relieve from the free hit. Good overhead receive and play on two from Bop. Love this. Karen Bear try and wear off the challenge, and penalty corner, stick tangle again. I don't think much to argue about down there.
Yeah, this is where they're very dangerous, when they're running at you and eliminating. So there's two eliminations on that right side, and resulted in that tackle of the corner and in the penalty corner.
Yeah, we'll see it again here. Just that, straight over the stick and up way too high to really try and argue anything. So big opportunity here for Bop, and it looks like they'll set up the top. Harmanpreet on the first bracket. Karen Bear there, he'll inject. And they go shorty. Dill's not sure if we'll call it a save. I think it's found him before he found it. And they're looking obviously for short and then deflections. Still in here. Whew. And it's in the goal. That's Baplenny magic. That's exactly what you expect from this team. And they find one finally here through the penalty corner follow-up. We'll have a look at it again on the replay. Oh, it's two deflections. The first one got it up off the ground, and the second one there beats Dill Patel in goal. It was Joban Singh who scored it in the end, and we're just like that, one apiece.
Yeah, a bit of ball watching from the Auckland Indian defenders after the breakdown on the penalty corner. And then, Bop had two strikers sitting in good positions to equalize.
And now comes down. Oh, lovely turn from Fitzwalter, still going. Bull in a China store. Good save there from Daljit. Both these teams still really pushing for something. They'll get another long corner here, the Auckland side. We lock back up at 1 apiece in this men's A section. It's not the tidiest receive, but they'll get away with it here. Bob.
Again, great skills to get out of the pocket. Really good handy stick work.
Look at that. He's just beaten half the team and now links up with Harmon. And another one. And it's a carbon copy of the first one, Jude, just on the other side of the field. Excellent skill, sets the striker free, who's on a half break, and a bad tackle brings in the corner.
Yeah, a copybook sort of play, turning defense into attacks, a transition defense. We talk about transition defense to transition attack. That's a perfect example of it. Oh, it's great skills, good hockey.
Yeah. And just really showcasing the skill that they have, which is the tight stick skill and the speed going forward. So now, what have we got? They went short here, so they went direct to the little left drop. This time, they might be set up in a German shape, but forced to freestyle and well defended by Auckland. Opportunity other end if they can get it going.
Probably not the best time for Auckland Indians to make an interchange. There are two players making that interchange when on a penalty corner.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you'd noticed that as well. Just didn't have anybody there. They had to run 60 metres from the dugouts to try and be part of that attack. And if they'd had one more up in front of the goal, I think they'd probably walk it in.
Yep, spot on, because the ball carrier didn't even have a target man at that stage.
Yeah, they've done everything right, Auckland, to get it to the right areas. Guy in the circle with it. And there's that little crossfield overhead. Well brought down, and they win the penalty corner in the end. Great skill up there for Auckland. And now with about 3 minutes left on the clock, Auckland will get first look at it. Here is the replay. Just brought down and pretty tidy, yeah. As soon as that defender got to upright, boom, punish him on the left foot. And he's quite a tall defender anyway, so tough work back there. And now Auckland, they scored through the penalty corner just before halftime. It's Fitzwalter again at the first bracket. Goes to Fitzwalter, it's behind him. And a big swing. It's better work from the lineman there. Well inside the goal. Got a good low stick on it.
Yeah, Harvinder Singh making a good stop on the line.
Yeah. And I mentioned Fitzwalter just having to pick that one up pretty far behind him, which I think took a bit of the sting off it on the flick. And Auckland now trying to find an overlap. Lovely skill there from Patel, and still there for Kishan Narsai. There's a bit of a log jam on that 45. And it's going to say up off the defender's stick there, and that was messy from both teams, really. Both attack and defense. I'm not sure if they all knew where the ball was. We mentioned in the earlier games, especially for Bay Plenty in this game, looking that direction into the sun could also make things a little difficult. We'll see it here. That first one was allowed to play, and it's this next one. That one that goes on. Yeah. Kishan Narsai just staying on it, being first to the ball, winning the 50-50, all the little things you like to see from your captain. And interestingly, Jude, they've switched their corner setup. So if Jeff Fitzwalters moves over to second bracket and Kieran Chiba's come on to the first bracket.
Yeah, they scored just before halftime. Can they do that just before the end of the third quarter as well?
This time it's going to be Chiba. Oh, they were looking for slide right, which I love there. Chiba's got a nice deceptive sweep it.
Oh, this is danger now.
Yeah, huge. Oh.
Should be a card.
Yeah, that one's, I think, more than cynical. You know it's hit your foot, absolutely. He's even going to still try and argue it a little bit there, Subjit Singh, but he's got at least 2 minutes on the sideline. And can Auckland, with 30 seconds left, exploit the gap? Can they find an opportunity? Still battling around that edge of the circle. Cleaned up now by Bop.
Really good tackle there by Amani Panga.
And I think the Hooters going to beat them all here. There it is, end of the third. And we remain locked up here, one apiece. Auckland Indians v Bop Indians. I tell you what, if you'd asked me to predict the score at three-quarter time and told me it was going to be a draw, I would probably have said 3-all, 4-all. But man, both teams not really finding that goal-scoring opportunity. We'll see some of it here. This is the penalty corner that Bop earned. And we'll see here, this is the goal. Touch, touch. In fact, there were 3 unmarked strikers on that same side of the goal for Auckland. As you see, all caught going towards the ball. Any number of them probably could have picked it up on the back post there. So good ID from Bop. And this one kicked and cleared by Dalji. This is the same thing up the other side. Skill, speed, and a pretty rough challenge in the end.
Yeah, that swinging stick on the reverse, the ball going towards the baseline. And unfortunately for Kiran Shiva, he made contact with the stick.
And we see there, we talked about where that lineman was, and you know, maybe perhaps wrongfully so on the first corner. That time though, much better spot, well inside, nice and low.
Yeah, we have the benefit of the replay, but I don't know if Auckland Indian, if they get a chance to see that again, they can see how far offset Daljit is.
Yes.
And the left side of the goal, the postie, should be the target man.
Yeah, and I think that's what they really were looking for there. They had 2 runners on that right side. You see them there. Just couldn't pick them out though on the post. That one, Arjun Pancha. And 1-all going into the 4th. And I've been begging for fireworks. And this could be it. This is 15 minutes. Now, interestingly, for those that have been along for the ride this morning, the other 2 teams in this pool had to go to a shootout as well. So, you know, if we do fall the way of the shootout, well, that one's actually going to go the way of the attackers. We don't see that too often. You know, if this one does go to a shootout, it's going to make that pool an absolute mess with 2 points and 1 point all over the show. But equally, if a team can actually win this game, they're going to put themselves in the driver's seat with the full 4 points. So a lot to play for in the context of their pool, given the earlier result. Fitzwalter, the goal scorer, he's...
It's interesting, Bop in a full press, even though 1 man down.
Yep.
And here we go, time to open up now.
Yeah, that's again, it's the risk and reward, even more so when you're down a player. But if you're going to full press like that, you probably can't let them out that easy.
Yeah, but if you look at their press, they're only pressing with the front 3.
Yes.
The rest of them are behind the halfway line,
Yep.
so they're defending like back 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So they're ready for that counter-attack, and if they get the ball, then they're going to have a crack. So that looks like their strategy.
And it's one of those, you know, one of those scenarios where this Bop team, they do play with a, you know, quite often a different style and different way of playing than a lot of the other Indian sports clubs, and even hockey teams in general. Usually when you're talking about pressing, you want to, you know, keep good distances between your layers, stay connected, all of those things. They're going, well, if we turn you over here, we're going to score. And if not, well, we back our defenders back there to clean it up, and maybe we'll go counter-attack anyway.
Yeah, there's almost no midfield support in that press.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, this time they're going to have to play some small games here. And Garambir, yeah, we see that a bit from this Bop team. Can be frustrating to play against. now.
Well, the double spin there.
Yeah, that's one way to get it to go 5 before it goes in the circle, as we see a little breakout here from Auckland, Jaden Gosha. They're trying to get numbers ahead. And they'll win the free hit just outside the dots there. Entry, Nasai, still looking. And it's defended in front of goal. How long is it going to be till we really see one of these teams push? That one, not 5 before it came in. And Bop now back to 11. And coming forward up that right side. Still working there. And they'll win the free hit there through Karambir. He'll take it quickly and probably ask a few questions. Still going in the circle. Well defended. Kesh Nasai.
Probably should have looked for a foot there, Karambir.
Yep. You have so many players that he could have picked out.
Yeah, good from Prashant Patel. Getting away from traffic, changing that point of attack.
Yeah, I mentioned one of those players in the build-up. He's played some good level hockey, Prashant. And out here for Auckland. He was part of the, he's been part of the NZI teams as well over the last couple of years. So see some of that experience. There's Armani Punga just searching for any sort of option at the moment. Fitzwalter now can spot a little bit of space. Nobody in it. I think he was just trying to roll one in there for Jaden Dyer, who let it go. And just like that, already 5 minutes gone in this fourth quarter. We're only at 10 left here for either team to break the deadlock, or are we going to our third shootout in a row here on the main field? I'll tell you what, Jude, we better be getting paid overtime at this rate. We've had 2 from 2 go the distance.
Yeah, I reckon there's a couple of goals in this still. Brad, I hope there are.
I would love to say so too. But something tells me that even if there are some extra goals, they're going to go either way. And I think we might be destined for another shootout yet. Come 10 minutes in this one is Bad Plenty through the long corner. And working that right corner. It's come up off the defender there. Good ball pressure from the defender. And Karambir, he's going to try and pull them out to go in, and it goes. And free hit comes the way of Auckland. It's a scramble in there.
Yeah, a little push to the back of Kiran Shiba by one of the strikers up front, resulting in that free hit.
Yeah. Nicely executed little 3D pass there from Armani Punga, and away goes Fitzwalter. Just undercooked that pass, and now Sandeep Singh. Oh, that's a great ball, that little lifted one through there. Such a hard one to defend, and you usually back Karambir to trap that.
The Auckland Indians getting out of their back 50 quite easily. They're sitting in a nice back 4 with 2 pivots in the middle.
Yep.
And really easily going through the press from Bok, because they've got 4 players in the press. So it's a 6v4 contest that Auckland Indians are winning every time.
Yep. Oh, it's going to work. Really well defended there. Harvinder again. And Bop now doing enough to win the free hit just in front of the dugout. Cut out there at least well enough. Aaron Patel.
Oh, right to left trap.
How's this? Still there for Karambir, and it's up off the stick there. But the skill set before it got into the circle, that's so nice. Just little stick feint.
Right.
Tidy drag. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful play. Doesn't look like they have a drag flicker, Bop. They've tried variations on 2 penalty corners, so let's see how this one pans out.
Yeah, yeah. Not perhaps a noted flicker on board. I will say the last one looked like it was dragged out a little bit askew as well, so probably didn't help things. It looks like they'll set up with Ashvir and Amin.
Yep.
Amin's that's a long way back if it is going to him. Yeah, again, I think the injection was letting them down on that one again. It looks like it's gone the same way. And a rotation call. Maybe blood, potentially. No, the signal was for an interchange. Not 100% sure. We'll try and find out exactly what happened there. We don't actually have comms over to the dugout at the moment, but Kieran Chiba went from the field pretty quickly for Auckland, so maybe we'll get a little bit of an update about that one. Auckland win a free hit through Kishan Nasai, the captain, and that one's not going to get through, but of the defensive, or work back there from Parb. Win the free hit, move off it. Auckland, can they find their way through? Nasai beats 1, 2, and the pass just undercooked again. He just does it for fun sometimes, waits for more people to get there so they can all see what he's doing. And now Auckland up a bit higher up the field, trying to put a bit of pressure on. And cut out well there by Fitzwalter. A little bit more traditional in their shape layers for Auckland than what we'd seen from Bop.
Yeah, sitting in a nice defensive diamond now, so
yep.
They've got good shape.
Nice link up there. Here it come, Auckland.
It's a penalty.
Yep, have found the opportunity at least here. Auckland, like you said, we get to see it on the replay, but have they identified that right side of the goal, attacking right? It looked like they did, looking for the slide on the last corner. But big opportunity here for Auckland to perhaps put 1 foot out the door here in this men's game. We'll see it on the replay. It's a nice little reverse stick overlap pass there, down onto the back line, and did well there to win the corner. Fitzwalter on the first bracket. It will be Fitzwalter. Yeah, another corner coming there. Didn't see it at full pace, but certainly didn't sound like stick on its way through. So they've called for another corner. They'll go to Fitzwalter again. This time too high at the first runner was the call there. He got out well that time. It actually looked like it was Harvinder Singh who'd run out first instead of being the lineman that time. A little bit of personnel change.
Yeah, good bravery running down the battle there. Took 1 for the team. Good man.
And I think what they identified is, as we mentioned, so Kieran Chiba had to go from the field, which meant the person that was sitting on the second bracket, Aaron Patel, I don't think probably gave us a real genuine decoy. You can see that time they didn't even really run to that second bracket. Second runner sat pretty low for that deflection, which, you know, again, good counter, being aware of what the other team are trying to do and just clearing out that, or clogging up actually that deflection line, although that's not going to help them. Auckland here forced to, you know, sorry, Bay of Plenty forced to do some extra defence.
Yeah, good aggressive press from Auckland.
Yeah. Oh, that one's going to beat them all over the back line. Now, interestingly, you know, our clock here on the live stream a little bit delayed. It's actually only 3 minutes left to go, not 6 as you guys can see at home, but 3 minutes left on the clock. I wonder if either team are happier than the others to go to the penalty shootout. You know, we sometimes talk about this, you know, perhaps you've got a goalkeeper that loves them, or, you know, you've got a skill set in your players that really thrive in the shootout. Though we did mention you only get 2 points instead of 4, so I'm sure teams would rather win it in regulation if possible. But I think it's a pretty interesting style clash with the stick skill that is the Bop team taking on Big Dill, who backs himself in any situation, let alone just the penalty shootouts. And he'll let you know that Big Dill was made for the live stream turf. As Auckland now, can they do it without the extras? Here's Jaden Gosha. He's going to get it back here, and they'll get another go at least from the set piece. Love the little 1-2 from Gosha there. Dumped it back out, repositioned, got it back again. We'll see it on this replay. This was the second part of it that won the penalty corner, but just prior to that, had the little entry, didn't like it. Little give and go, netball style play. And now we've seen a little bit of chess and checkers in these last 2 penalty corners. What have we got going on? Looks like, yeah, Chiba's back on the field for Auckland. He's at the second bracket. I dare say it's probably Fitzwalter on the first. It will be. Oh, and the chess game continues this time.
That's a great save off the line.
Yeah.
Really good reactions. Came off the keeper.
Yeah.
Just good hands to react to that ball, and it's a big save in the context of the game.
That's right, and I think Fitzwalter probably just went a little narrow at that time. It looked like almost straight down the middle. Daljit got a bit of it, and then, oh man, I think it was Harvinder again. Just dispatched of it off the left post. And you mentioned the context. I mean, it was a minute to go when that ball came out, so huge for Bop. And now Auckland, Chiba. They're going to have another go at it from the sideline here. Not a lot of time left. Cut out by Bop. We look destined for a shootout, barring some magic here from Auckland. Man, I thought Chiba had almost done enough there to deserve one, if nothing else, for wearing off the 5 contests he got through. But Nasai wins one, takes it quickly. He gets it all right until he gets it wrong, Kesh, and we're going to a third shootout in a row here. This is New Zealand Indian Hockey Championship 2025. Well, we may as well call it the penalty shootout comp.
Yep, you were right there, Brad. We are heading into our third shootout today. So, well, was a tough game, tough contest. Both sides really tried hard. There were a few opportunities, but unfortunately, not many goals as we had predicted.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting, you know, like I said, not the game we probably expected it to be, and both teams, you know, being forced to play a bit of chess, you know, a bit of back and forth and counter what the other team was doing, and at the end, nothing to separate the two teams. And I think fitting that it's going to go down to a penalty shootout the way the two teams played. I think we saw, you know, periods where both teams were able to really create opportunities, you know, but nothing other than those goal apiece that we saw, able to find the scoreboard, which, you hats off to both teams' defensive groups who stood up when needed to and did enough to at least see them through to this penalty shootout. Yeah, so just seeing that replay, that was the one where Kieran Chiba ended up leaving the field, and I'm not entirely sure why. He was sitting at second runner. Yeah, the ref actually blew the whistle a second time and forced the interchange, it looked like, but we'll see. Hopefully is this the one with the, no, that's the earlier one that's come off the leg of Harvinder. I'm sure we'll see at some point the line save. There it is. How good. We'll see it from the front on. Love it. Great hockey. And then, yeah, Kish. He'd done the hard bit.
He won't be impressed with that.
No.
Should have got the shot away on target, especially in the dying moments of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the teams are going to have to battle for the 2 points instead of the 4. For those of you unfamiliar, and I've already explained it twice today, but the penalty shootout, each team will select 5 attacking players alongside their 1 defending goalkeeper and take turns in having 8 seconds to take the ball from the attacking 25-yard line into the circle and attempt to score a goal. It's 5v5, and those that have the most points come the end of the 5 will win the game. If there's no clear winner there, we'll progress on to a 1-for-1 sudden death penalty shootout. Now, if the attacker infringes in any way, so ball hits their foot or back of the stick, or they obstruct the goalkeeper, or the ball just goes over the back line, that's penalty shootout over. If the goalkeeper commits an infringement, so bad tackle, stick challenge, body obstruction, anything along those lines, the umpire has the option of a retake or a penalty stroke, depending on the severity of the infringement. So this is for all the marbles, or at least for in this game, and it's going to really make a mess of that Pool A, which was already coined the Pool of Death. And now with 2 shootouts, it just got even tougher. It looks like Kishan Narsai will be up first for Auckland. And as I mentioned, 8 seconds to get in and try and beat Daljit Singh. Here we go. Umpires just making sure their whistles are all working, and they've figured out that 8 comes after 7. And here is Narsai. I played it pretty cool there. A little bit of a slow step to start with, just, you know, trying to figure out where Daljit was, and fairly easy execution in the end on the reverse stick from Kesha Narsai. Now Karambir Singh for Bop, taking on Big Dil Patel. Oh no.
I've seen a few of those.
I was going to say, we've seen that one a couple of times, and unfortunately Dill's seen it too many times in front of him. Just got put in the absolute dishwasher there from Karambir. Now stepping up for Auckland. Yeah, does well. Probably committed a little bit too early there. Daljit just got off his feet. Would love to see him keep shuffling and try and get in the mixer for the actual shot rather than the drag, but executed well there.
Yeah, good finish.
And that's missed wide there. Dill does enough to get in the lane. Bikramjit there couldn't score for Bop, so advantage now to the Auckland team, and Jaden Gosha steps up to try and go 3 for 3 for the Aucklanders. And he does it again. We've said it a couple of times, probably made it more difficult than he needed to there. Jaden, I think the first 3 little yardstick type dribbles didn't do much other than take a couple of seconds, but he's done enough there.
Yeah, Dalji just held him for a bit, but couldn't hold on for long enough.
Simranveer, well, he tries to go through the Indian wall, and no way through the big pads there of Dill. And now the opportunity here for Prashant to win the penalty shootout. A successful one here will do it for Auckland. They've already made 3, this for 4, and the game. And there it is, cool as ever. Mr. Smooth, Prashant Patel scores the 4th, and Auckland, they win it via the penalty shootout over Bay of Plenty Indians. And they get one back after I said they played last year, and Bop win that one 2-1. Auckland, they'll get this one via the penalty shootout. And what a game. We've seen shootouts in both the men's Pool A games already at this year's tournament. Wasn't the goal fest that we were expecting, Jude, but a tough battle and a good game nonetheless.
Yeah, we still had a lot of goals off penalty shootouts, though not the ones that we were after. We were after the more field goals or penalty corners, but yeah, it was a good contest. And yeah, I think, as you mentioned earlier, Brad, it throws this pool wide open. And that second round games now on those top 4 teams really becomes crucial. Yeah, absolutely. As you know, that's another cracking game here for our men's A section coming up at 1:45. We've got the men's B section game out on the live stream. It'll be Pookie Indians B taking on Auckland B. Battle of the Bombays coming up. Battle of South Auckland here at 1:45. Make sure you come back and join us live. I've been Brad Pittman, joined by Jude Menezes. See you all on the next one.